Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Desert Wine Guys YouTube channel. How you guys doing today? Alright, so today I have a wine. I got a Cabernet Sauvignon from Altruria. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. I've never heard of the winery either. But it's a Cabernet Sauvignon that I spent $30 on. Okay, now the person at the wine shop told me that the only difference between this one and another Altruria Cabernet Sauvignon that was there was one had grapes grown in the Napa Valley. This one has them grown in the Sonoma County. Okay, there was a big difference in price. I don't remember exactly what the price for the Napa Valley one was, but I didn't feel like spending that money because I had already bought another wine. And Miss Desert Wine Girl, well, let's just say it wouldn't look good for me. So today we're going to be doing this one. It's a 2019 Altruria Cabernet Sauvignon. And I've already tried the wine, guys, okay? Now, I'm not going to give it away right now. But a really cool thing on here is, first of all, it's cork sealed, the bottle. The next thing is, if you notice, there's a year, a vintage on the cork. Now, from my understanding, an article I had read a couple of years ago, actually, was that wineries were doing this in order to avoid counterfeiting, okay? Now, I don't know who's going to counterfeit a $30 bottle of wine, but I guess you never know, right? All right, so the wine comes in at 14.7% on the alcohol scale. And let's go ahead and give it a try. By the way, this pour on here, I got this like many years ago actually at a big wine shop, a big conglomerate wine shop. And I think it does a great job. I mean, you heard it pour, I hope. And I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but there's a lot of bubbles in here. So what the bubbles are doing is they're aerating. Okay, so anything that aerates is good, and it helps the wine open up. So we'll go ahead and check out the nose right now. Okay, so immediately I'm getting a sweet oak. There's a sweet oak here, intermixed with a very nice sweet spice. Okay, so the two actually melt together and become one note, and smells nice. However, the scary thing to me is that word sweet. I do not care for sweet or jammy red wines. That's just not who I am. So there's a cassis here as well, which is pretty nice. So let's go ahead and try it now. So here we go. There is a little bit of sweetness to the wine, okay? A little bit of fruit sugar to the wine, or fruit sweetness. In my opinion, since I'm very sensitive to what everybody would consider sweetness in a wine, I think it's a little bit overdone, just a hair bit overdone. There's a lot of fruit here. There's a lot of like a sweetish black cherry. And I know I keep saying that word sweet. And I guess what's going on is the black cherry is not adding sweetness. It's just the wine is so well balanced and so well put together that everything kind of meshes so nicely because the wine isn't getting sweeter. Okay, so I don't want to scare you guys into thinking that, because that's not what's happening here. The wine is just a little bit forward on the sweet side. So there is a little bit of tobacco here. Just a little bit, nothing crazy. Nothing really that even makes like a big dent in the wine. Not a dent as in a bad way, but an impact. Let's try that. So it's nice, don't get me wrong. Acidity is, I would say, just slightly up from a medium presentation. Not high at all, but not medium either. It's just slightly up from that. One thing I wanted to point out to you guys as we go on here, if you look at the back label here, first of all, I'm very disappointed in the back label. It's just plain, okay? All of that is taken up by the health warning, okay? It says bottled by, okay? So I was under the impression when I bought this wine that Altruria actually made the wine. That's not what this means. Bottled by does not mean they made the wine. Bottled by means they simply bottled the wine. They put the juice in the bottle. For $30, guys, I expected a little more control over a product, but I don't know. I guess as far as I know right now, it's not here. And if it does change, if I do find out some more information, on my blog, where I'll also be reviewing the wine, desertwineguide.blogspot.com, I'll add that information over there as well. So, I'll take a couple of more sips here to this wine because I don't know about you, but $30 for a Cabernet Sauvignon, $30 for any wine, to me is a little pricey. And since this whole channel is about wine for the average guy, the average person, you know, if I'm gonna break from that momentarily, I want to break from it for a good purpose, so I can come to you guys and say, hey, look, I know it's $30. I know it's more than we normally spend on a wine, but please go ahead and do it. You won't regret it. You know, in the long run, is the wine worth $30? Yeah, I'd say it's worth $30. It's not a bad wine, don't get me wrong. It's just that fruit-forward sweetness really throws my palate off. There's a touch of jamminess here, but added to that sweetness again, that black cherry, that sweet black cherry, and Swedish oak. It's I think it's a hair overdone. By the way, the wine is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, and as you can already see, the grapes from the Sonoma Valley, Sonoma County. I'm kind of torn on this wine, guys, really. If I was to rate it, which of course I'm going to rate it, I would probably put it at 92 points. Why am I disappointed? Honestly, I have no idea. The wine guy at the shop kind of played this up. He knows my palate. I tell him that my palate does not like jamminess. My palate does not like Swedish red wine, or even for that matter, white wine. And this is what he picked for me. And I guess you know, I guess your palate, your own personal palate, can kind of either take or leave this wine. For me, 92 points is where I think it should be. I kind of fought myself going from 91, 92, but I'm going to settle in at 92 points here. And I'm going to take one more sip, guys, because I don't want you guys to miss anything here on this review, okay? I want to make sure I'm putting everything in here for you so you'll know, if you see it in the stores, whether to buy it or not buy it. Yeah, see that sweet oak, that sweet cherry comes through here. But you know what? You know what else is to this wine that's really nice though? There's a plushness to the wine, and that plushness it rates a lot in the wine. I think without that plushness, the wine probably would not have broken into the 90s at all. Probably would have come in about 87 points, 88 points. I don't know if I mentioned acidity. Oh, I did mention acidity. Acidity is beautiful, okay? Really nice. Tannins. Tannins come in at the mid-palate, okay? Not before, not after. They start at the mid-palate. Tannins are finely grained tannins, and they hold all the way through to the finish. And tannins are another very nice part of this wine. So, here's my review, guys. 92 points. Do I recommend you go out and spend $30 for the wine? Well, there's a couple of questions my daughter always asks me as I review a wine. So, we will go like this. Hit it.
Do you like the wine?
I think the wine is pleasant.
What are you going to rate it?
I'm going to rate it 92 points.
Would you buy it again?
That's a toss-up, actually.
Is it a pool wine?
It's not a pool wine. It's $30.
Cellar worthy?
Cellar worthy. It's not cellar worthy for that cellar. Is it cellar worthy as far as a cellar or as far as a wine jail, for instance, in the living room to keep on hand? Yeah, for that I would go for it. Thank you, honey. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any other friends out there that love wine, please let them know about the channel. It would mean a lot to me if they subscribed. I think at the time, right now I have, do you remember what I said, honey? How many subscribers?
31.
No, I think 31 subscribers. I'd like to see that get up to, oh, I don't know, 40? Come on, guys, you can do it. I know you can. So anyway, thanks for checking out the Desert Wine Guy, and I'll speak to you later.